What's up guys, it's Missy. I'm back with another SimCity Buildit video. And today we're going to be talking about the contest and mayor's rules of rotation. So I tried to put this out in a equation, kind of sort of, to try to have it make a little bit more sense. So I wanted to go ahead and explain what this is. It was posted to the Facebook page yesterday. For those of you who saw it and don't understand it, I'm going to explain it in this video. So as many of you guys know, there's a lot of things that need to be taken into consideration when you pick your tasks. Note that this is for a level 11 to level about 24 or to 29 if you don't have regionals. This is the method in which you would follow if you're playing the Contest of Mayors in the Mega League. This is not the rules of rotation for lower leagues. Lower leagues, you're basically just playing quick, easy points that really don't cost you anything. They're not costing you cash, they're not costing you your limited opportunity type tasks like epic projects and certain things like that. Okay, so what are the rules of rotation and why are they important? Well, for those of you who don't know what this means, basically, in Mega, you start off with 60 tasks. Then you have 15 tickets now that you can utilize to secure your placement. The rules of tickets. What is the rule in tickets? If you've watched my videos, you should know this. And that is, if you have a legitimate shot at winning, you should use all of your tickets. Now, what a lot of people try to do is they try to kind of turn things around. Every time I make a statement, they try to say, well, what about in this incident? Or what about this? No, just, it's simple. If you have a legitimate shot at winning, use your freaking tickets, okay? What ends up happening is, let's say that you've used all of your assignments, and you've finished, and you have 2 days remaining, and the people that are below you are pretty far below you, maybe 40, 50, 60,000 points below you. That looks like a significant amount. However, it's really not that much. I mean, 40 to 60,000 points is not that much to get in 2 days. I mean, you just proved it because you just did it yourself, right? Now, if they feel that you are out of assignments, they will attempt to try to win. So let's say that they have about 60,000 points, right? They've got 2 days remaining. You know they have tasks left, okay? And they look and they see that your score hasn't moved. They're going to assume that you're out of assignments. And they're going to assume that since you move so quickly, that you probably don't know what you're doing and that you blew through your assignments and that you're probably out. And they're going to try to beat your score. What you need to do is continue on, add points with your tickets, and then save about 3 to 5 tickets for the last day, or depending on the situation, of course. Depending on your war schedule and things like that. But you want to make sure that you leave yourself ample opportunity to be able to do any task that comes across your plate. So if you know that the person in second is going to be, putting up a decent amount of points, and you know that war's going to be over soon, then you should definitely get your shit done now rather than later, so that if you get a war assignment, you can actually do it, right? It doesn't make sense to not. Now, that's really what it comes down to. A lot of people what they'll do is they will see like, hey, the guy below me is about 40, 50,000 below me. There's 2 days left. So they sit there for 2 days and they watch the people slowly add points. And then they think, well, I better pick up the pace and add a few tickets. That right there is what put your score at risk to begin with. Had you added more points later or earlier on, they wouldn't have attempted, as most of the time they wouldn't have even attempted to try to beat your score. But now that they've already done it, they're like, well, I might as well try now that I put in all this work. So they're going to try even harder to beat your score. You want to just get it done, get it over with, and get it done as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible. That is the key word, efficiently. You do not want to just blow through all your tasks, put up an obscene amount of points, or put up points in a very short amount of time, but then have done everything wrong. As long as you're making all the right choices, you want to go as fast as you can, making all of the right choices, okay? All right, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, what are the rules of rotation in terms of the points, or in terms of amount of tasks left? So if you guys have watched my videos, I tell you guys to look at everything, right? I tell you to look at city level, and I explain why. So I can tell you, go look at city level, and you're gonna be like, cool, that's level 24, what does that mean? Like, why am I telling you to look at city level? Well, because of the amount of factory slots you have available, if you do or do not have tokens unlocked, the type of competition you're going up against, the amount of items unlocked, all of these things play a key role, and that is what essentially you're analyzing. So I tell you guys to look at tasks remaining. And what does that mean to you? Most people don't know what that means. They're just like, cool, I have tasks left. What does that mean? So when I tell you guys to do a task assessment and look at your list, and I say that you're going to look at city level, time remaining, league, all these things, you need to know what it is you're looking for, right? So if you come to me and ask me, what is the correct choice on this or that, I can't give you a definitive answer without knowing all of this criteria. And what's more important is that you understand what it is that you need to look for. So tasks remaining, why does that matter? It plays a huge factor, because the more tasks you have left, the more you need to open up opportunity for better things to happen, right? So if you are at a point where you have 50 tasks remaining, it doesn't make sense to go for the highest possible valued task with the least amount of opportunity, right? It makes sense that you would go with the highest possible valued task with the highest possible opportunity. And then if you look at it and somebody's like, well, okay, it's got really high value, but no opportunity whatsoever, then it's like you're banking in on the value. But what if it has midway opportunity and midway value, right? Then you have to analyze everything else. And it's a lot to take in, but I'm going to try to break it down for you guys simply. So let's say that you are between the first 1 and 50 tasks. So the first 50 tasks of the contest, okay? You are playing for opportunity over value. So if you look here, see how it says opportunity, and then it has the greater sign and then the lesser sign for value. So I use an example here where I show a 1080 flower greater than a repair 1200. That's what that means. So why am I doing that? Because flower opens up better opportunity, right? So this is the example. You would choose flower because it opens up better opportunity, but it's worth a little bit less points. So what you're saying here is, sure, I'm taking 120 less points, but I'm going to get more points later by doing this task over that task, okay? So let's say that you are picking between a 1440 garden chairs assignment over a 1600 keys. Why would you pick garden chairs over keys? Because they open up better opportunity, right? Now, let's say that you are doing a 1600 key. Okay, so you have a 1600 keys, a 1600 repair, and a 1600 flower task. Which do you choose? You would choose flower because it opens up better opportunity with equal amount of value, right? So rule number 2 is value and opportunity are equal, then you go with the ones that have been sitting the longest, okay? What does this mean? So what did I just say? Value and opportunity are equal. So for example, that would be you have a Tokyo flight for 1,000 and you have a London flight for 1,000. They both open up equal opportunity and they both give you the same amount of points. What do? You just got the London one, it just came in, but the Tokyo one's been sitting since the beginning of the contest. Which do you choose and why? They're both the same opportunity and the same value. You would pick the Tokyo. It's been sitting the longest. Now, why do you pick Tokyo over London? Why does it matter? So, essentially, the longer an assignment sits, the more it needs to be rotated. Okay, so for instance, you notice how a lot of times you'll be working the same assignment for a long time. Like you picked that task, and then you're doing that same exact one. You haven't touched any other task in your list. But then all of a sudden, you're like, screw it, I'm not getting anything good, and you go to the bottom of your list and you do some random task for like 1,000 points. Usually it's like a war booster or something. Then all of a sudden you start getting 3K tests and you're like, wow, why did that result in that? You know, that's why. Because you're not opening up any other doorways, right? So think of it like, how do I explain this? Think of it like you have all of these choices in front of you. And the choice that you make has the ability to give back whatever it is it's going to give you. And you keep picking that same choice and you keep getting the same opportunity. Does that make, or the same thing over and over, like just in a different way. So like, let's say that you pick one thing and you get a 1,000 point task. You pick that same, you know, task placement and you get another 1,000 point task and another and another and another. And it would stand to reason that you need to scramble things up a bit, right? You need to kind of move things around, and that way you get something different, something better. That is essentially what you're doing. You don't want to work the same freaking task forever. And so what ends up happening is, and if you saw like last week where I went through everybody's choices, some of the biggest problems that people had faced was that they were not rotating the right things at the right time, right? They were allowing things to sit for, first off, way too long, and they were not taking into consideration that they had so many tasks left. So what ends up, one of the biggest problems that you guys face is you're not looking at the bigger picture. You're looking at the now. Okay, so for instance, if I was to pull up one of the assignment lists from last week, they, at one point, one of them had like 5 upgrades in their list and they had 50 tasks remaining. So looking at that list, you need to ask yourself, is this gonna do me good? How is this gonna work out for 50 tasks plus tickets? And that's when you need to make a decision and say, if something's got to give here, because you're not going to be able to do this for 50 tasks. That's just bottom line. So it really comes down to, I need to open something up, or I'm going to end up basically wasting away all my valuable assignments. So what ends up happening is the person thinks, this is bad, I don't know what to do, and they're like, I might as well just add as many points as I can, and then I'll cancel in a while. No, that is horrible, because what ends up happening is you whittle away your assignments and you add such crappy points that by the time you cancel, it's like taking little bites of a cake and then cutting the thing completely in half. Like, dude, you might as well have just taken the piece that you wanted all along and dealt with it, because now you're fucked. Now you've just whittled it away to nothing. And now your average is so damn bad that you're not going to be able to make up for it. So for those of you who see that you have a really bad list, what you have to do is you have to assess your list, look at it and say, okay, cross off anything that you cannot do, like that's completely 100% out, like a 1,000 monster or something. Cross off all that. And then you're going to look at the placements that you have that could be rotatable, okay? And you're going to count how many there are. Normally, there's 3 rotatable tasks and 1 or 2 main tasks that you're working. That's how it usually starts off in the beginning, right? Now, as you proceed on through the contest, you start to get less and less of them. And then eventually, you usually have about 2 or 3 tasks that you can rotate and work around, right? Now, what ends up happening is people end up with like 1 or 2 tasks that they can rotate very early on. That is when you need to open something up, not just whittle away your points. And that right there is when most people make their biggest mistakes. They go for 12, 15 tasks, either not rotating the right thing or picking the wrong thing. Because when you pick a repair 1200 over a flower, all you're doing is knocking your average 800 points and opening up nothing better for yourself. So in 2 or 3 tasks, when it comes back, you're going to be faced with the same exact decision. And that decision you were faced with to begin with wasn't that great. So what favor have you done yourself there? Right? That doesn't make sense. So if you look at this and you go to rule number 3, it says if value is 2,000 or higher, the value becomes greater than the opportunity because of 2K placement. What does this mean? This means that, okay, you've got a repair 2,000, right? And you've got a flower 180 or 1080. Why are we picking repair over flower under these circumstances? Because of the value. The value is at 2,000. That is your average. That's what you're going for, right? The opportunity that you're trying to open up, that is the opportunity. That is the what you're trying to have happen. That was it. So if you do let's say you do a 1,000 flower and you get a 2K repair, that was the opportunity you were looking for. So what ends up happening is people do the flower over the 2,000 repair and they basically piss off their opportunity. That was the opportunity, right? It doesn't make sense to do the flower over a 2K repair when you, what good is that? Oh, I'm trying to open opportunity. That was your opportunity. That was what it was. It was right there. You didn't even take it. You know, you only have so many tasks that can be worth that value in your list, right? So ultimately, if your goal is to go for a 2K average, you had the 2K average right there. The more you allow 2K assignments to sit, the less 2K assignments you're going to get in return. So if you have a 2,000 keys, then you do it, right? But if you, let's say you have a 2,200 flower over a 2,000 repair, no shit you're going to do the flower. It's higher, right? It's higher. It's worth more, and it opens up better opportunity. Then you get a 1,600 keys. You're going to do the repair because it's worth 2,000. Okay? So then you get, like, let's say it's between a 2,400 epic and a 2,400 repair. Well, that depends. That really depends. It depends on a lot of things. First off, you know the epic's going to need done, right? That's a given. But which one do you do first? Do you open up opportunity on the epic first, or do you do the repair? You do the repair usually first because of the fact that the repair is almost always in your list, right? So if you can clear out that placement now, do the epic after the repair, then you'll have a higher chance of getting better opportunity once you clear that epic, because you now have another 2K placement open, whereas that wouldn't have been open had you done the epic first. Had you done the epic first, the repair would have still been sitting there holding that 2,400 value, and it would have not presented a better opportunity. Now, the repair is going to come back. It's just a matter of for how much and when, right? So if you follow these particular guidelines, the decisions become easy. So if you take your general knowledge of how to break down the task, how do I explain this? So you're going to break down the way that you find the two that you're looking for. So essentially what you're doing is you're taking an entire list of tasks, crossing off anything you can't do, okay? Then you're going to mark main tasks versus rotatable tasks. Main tasks are tasks you do right now that need done like within the next few tasks. And rotatable tasks are tasks that can be done to open up better opportunity, right? So once you mark all those, then you look at what's the best option out of the ones that you have available to you based off of this equation. So this is between the first 1 through 50 tasks. You follow these 3 rules, right? Now, if you go to the last 10 tasks, not tickets, 10 tasks of your list, this right here is the trickiest part for people, okay? So you have 10 tasks remaining, and then you have your tickets. What is important right now? It says opportunity is greater than value, right? Unless 2K or higher. So same as before, you're still playing for opportunity. This is the time when you rotate anything you can to open up opportunity for when you get to your ticket, okay? So let's say that you have a 2,000 repair and a 1,000 war assignment, right? You would do the 2,000 repair, that's a given, okay? But let's say that you had an 1,800 cargo over a 1,200 legendary attack. Which do you do? You would do the 1,800 cargo because it opens up opportunity. Now you have an 800 Paris over a 1,200 lunch legendary. And then you have a 1,600 keys. Which do you do? You do the legendary. Okay, why? It's 400 lower, but it opens better opportunity, right? So the last 10 tasks, what you want to do is you want to look at your list, break it down, and you want to find anything that is rotatable that opens up opportunity and make it priority. Okay, opportunity is priority right now. So that when you get to your tickets, when you get to tickets, you really don't want to do any cancels. Like, if you cancel on your tickets, it better be for a damn good reason. You're running out of tasks. So opportunity becomes less of a concern, right? When you play for opportunity, you have to have opportunity available to you. It doesn't make sense to open up opportunity when you're running out of tasks, right? So what'll end up happening is people will have like 4 tasks left, and they'll be playing, and they'll have like a 1,600 keys, okay, over a 1,200 flour. And I'm like, why the hell did you pick flour? Better opportunity. But you have no tasks left. You're on your tickets. Now it becomes about points. Value trumps opportunity, okay? But let's say, you got to use some common sense here. Let's say that you have a 1,440 lawn chairs over a 1,500 coin. Which do you choose? Depends on how many tickets you have left. If you have if you're on your 14th ticket, you would obviously go with the lawn chairs because you still have 13 freaking tasks, right? But if you had like 2 tasks left, you would obviously go with the coin, right? Because you're adding as many points as possible. So you got to have some kind of common sense to determine, like, okay, the first 10 tickets, you have a little bit of wiggle room. Then the last 5 tickets, it's like points trumps everything. If you have a 2,000 flour over a 1,800 planks, or an 18, let's say you have like a 1920 planks over a 2,000 flour, and you have like 2 days left. Why not? And somebody's like, well, I already have planks done. You might as well just wait for the flour. I mean, what reason do you have not to? It's an extra 80 points, right? Like, sure, you could get your shit done now, or you could be patient and wait and stack on an extra 80 points. It would really, really, really suck to lose if you, you know what I mean? Like, to lose to that 80 points, would it not? As time goes on, you'll notice that the competition becomes harder and harder, and that you could easily lose the contest by less than 100 points. You know, it happens all the time. So it's really important, more than ever, that when you get to your tickets, that you pay very close attention to doing value over opportunity. But you want to make sure that you're still taking opportunity into consideration when value is equal or damn near equal, right? So if it's damn close, then go with opportunity still, right? I mean, like I said, some common sense is needed here to be able to do things like this. You know, a lot of people, they want me to just be like, you know, you're going to pick blue over red, and if you get purple, then you're going to pick yellow. Like, they just want something simple, right? And it's not that simple. You have to be able to have some bit of common sense and some level of intellect to where you can decipher, you know, like, okay, this would be my best route. This is what is going to happen if I do that. This is what could happen. This is what should happen. You know, you got to look at everything. Okay, so just to recap, the first 50 tasks, you're going to go for opportunity over value, right? Obviously, unless it's 2K or higher. Okay, so then you're going to, if the value and opportunity are equal, you're going to go with the one that's been sitting for the longest. If value is 2K or higher, then value trumps opportunity. For your limited 2K placements, once you get to your last 10 tickets, opportunity trumps value more important than ever. This is when you need to do any double cancellations if need be. This is when you need to clear up any loose ends with anything that you maybe haven't rotated. And then when you get to tickets, that's when you start playing for value over opportunity. Unless, you know, like I said, I mean, with the 2K or higher, if you have a 2K task that's equal in opportunity, then you would take the common sense route and decipher which one is the better option. You know, if you can open up better opportunity and the points are really, really, really minuscule, and, you know, depending on where you're at with your tickets, it may be a better option. But like I said, I can't just give you guys a simple answer. Hopefully this helps you guys better understand. So what you want to do is you want to take this mindset and implement it into everything that I've already taught you. Okay, so I'm going to pull up a couple of lists here and give you guys a couple examples using this rotation method and see if it makes a little bit more sense. Okay, so I never finished part 2 of this person's video, so I'm going to go ahead and try to do that. So we had left off right around here. Let's see. Okay, so we were right here with the nails. So we've got 28 tasks left. We're well within our first 50 tasks as we've discussed. Now what we're going for is opportunity over value, right? Obviously value is still going to be considered here, of course, but we still want to be over opportunity for value. So we've got the 2000 upgrade there. That's one of the 4 places are taken up. We've got the legendary attack, the paint, the nails, the launch. So paint, nails, launch, and legendary, those are all rotatable, right? The nails would be the main rotatable task. That would be the one that would pop up the first because it's the one worth the highest value. Then she's got another 2K placement taken up, so 2 out of 4. And then we would cross off any other upgrades. We have a coins task there that could be rotated, but that's not going to be for a really long time. And then the rest is crossed off. So it comes down to nails, paint, launch legendary, launch VU. Okay, so going by rotation method, we're going for opportunity. Now, nails, paint offer the same general opportunity. VU and legendary usually offer a little bit better opportunity than that, you know, because you're opening up that high premium. That legendary attack, if it comes back, it can come back worth up to 3,600 points, right? Whereas a paint task is not ever going to be worth that. Okay, so right now the correct choice would obviously be the nails. It's worth the highest and opens up equal amount of opportunity. So she does the nails and she gets a 1600 repair. Now, going based off this, we would go with the next highest opportunity, best opportunity here, which would be the Lunch Legendary attack. Now, she should be in war, but if she's not in war, we would go with the next highest opportunity, which would be the VU. So it would either be Lunch Legendary or VU, which she does repair. Well, you still have 26 tasks left. So let's say you do this repair for 1600 and it keeps coming back for 1600. You're telling me you're just gonna keep doing it? I mean, that doesn't make sense, right? So she gets a 2500 design challenge. Now she has 3 out of her 4 2K placements taken up. It doesn't make sense to cancel this particular task because it can come back worth 2500 points. And it likely will come back with 2,500 points. So right now, I would not cancel. She still has room for something to pop up, and her score is already so bad that there's no way I would cancel under these circumstances. Okay, so she goes with paint. She should have went with, again, opportunity trumps value. And then, you know, you obviously go with value. She went with the lowest value with the equal amount of opportunity. Actually, a less amount of opportunity if you really look at it, because the Lunch Legendary attack and the VU not only offered more points, but better opportunities. Because we know that the most that the VU can come in for is 3K, but the least is 1K. So it really didn't make sense to do the paint under these particular circumstances. So she goes with the paint, and she gets a 2K epic. Now, this is her 4th 2K placement. So, first off, she needs to get that done. That would be her next option, would be the epic, which she does not do. She cancels the design challenge. Now, I would not have canceled the design challenge because of the fact that it can come back with 2,500 points, right? So that seems to be the only value of that particular task, is the 2,500. It doesn't have any other value that I've ever seen. So we know that if it comes back, it will come back with 2,500 points, whereas if we would have canceled the upgrade, we have a chance that it could come back lower. So I would not have done that. So she cancels that, and she gets a 1,200 glass task. Now, this particular task it's going to take a long time, and she really can't afford that, especially with the amount of tasks she has remaining. So it doesn't make sense to do that task at all. So now it's coming back down to the epic. Now, when this epic first came in, she was at 2 days, 18 hours. Now she's at 2 days, 18 hours still, so it hasn't been very long. And she goes with the VU. Well, okay, so obviously her epic must be on a cooldown, right? Now we're at 2 days, 18 hours. She does the repair. Then she gets a 2 days, okay, so 17 hours. So 1 hour from the time she did the repair, she got the textiles. Now, the textiles, typically, we would not rotate them at this points value, but given these circumstances and the fact that she has nothing else to rotate besides that epic and that Lunch Legendary attack, it appears as though the epic is on a cooldown, and if she hasn't done that war attack, then we must not be in war at this current time. So that being said, she really has nothing else better to do with her time right now but wait. And then in that case, she should get the damn textiles at least prepped, right? Because given the fact that she has 22 assignments left, she has no other openings, she has nothing but time, it makes sense that she would at least prep them just in case she has to do them. So we're at 2 days, 13 hours from the time that was taken. So it's been 4 hours. So she should have done the textiles. It's been, 4 hours? It only takes 3 hours to do textiles. So she would have had the textiles at least done. And she's able to get her epic done. Okay, so the textiles should be sitting there done if she played correctly. So she does her epic, and she gets a 1,200 keys. And she does keys? Why would you do keys? She should have done the Launch Legendary attack or the textile. Now we're at 2 days, 13 hours. There's no reason whatsoever why those textiles should not have been prepped under these particular circumstances. Now, she gets a 1600 home design, okay? So now we're right back in this dilemma again where it's like, okay, so you have a launch legendary attack and a 1300 textiles. So she does the launch legendary attack at 2 days and 12 hours. So that was right when she got that. So that tells me that she had about an hour-long wait, if that's the case. That right there, I would have either went with the textiles or I would have went, okay, the attack phase starts in 1 hour, wait for the launch legendary attack. This was a really stupid mistake. There was no reason whatsoever to not wait the hour and do the launch legendary attack or to not do the textiles. So she goes with the launch legendary attack and she gets a 2000 disaster, which obviously she would do. And then she gets a 600 cargo. So again, now we're at 2 days, 12 hours. There's no reason anymore why these damn frickin' textiles shouldn't have been done. Okay? So at this point, reassess the list. What does she have? She has all these residential upgrades she can't do. She has a coins task she could rotate if need be, but I mean, essentially that's just going to come right back anyways, right? She has way too many tasks remaining in order to work one area, like to work one placement for that many tasks, it's not going to play out well. This is when you have to reassess and you have to make an executive decision to do something else. Now, given that her score is so bad, she really can't afford another cancellation, right? But had she not canceled as many times as she did, had she had a regular score, like a decent score, the odds here, the move here would be that she would need to, well, she would need to do the textiles. Even so, even if she could cancel, she would still need to do the textiles. She's got to open something up. Now, if she opens up chems, okay, that's 2 rounds for one, which is 4 hours. The chemicals are more likely to come back, and they're more likely to come back worth less than 2,000 points. Whereas the textiles are less likely to return, and if they do return, they have the ability to be worth more points than the 1,900 on the chems. So textiles still is better than anything else in this list right now. The glass takes even longer, and by doing the glass, it opens up opportunity for the glass to return, which if you had to do 2 rounds of glass, that would be even worse. So again, textiles still wins here. Doesn't make sense to do coin here at all whatsoever because it's not opening up any opportunity for her. I mean, she has too many tasks left to be dinking around with shit like that, right? So she does that and she gets the 2,500 war delivery, which clearly you would do that under these circumstances. And then the coins come right back, worth even less than they were there for to begin with. So she went with cargo. Really? Man. Now she gets a 2,400 epic, which she obviously would finish that, right? And she gets a 1,000 delivery, which is still less than the chem. So if you're noticing here, the game's not giving her much, right? It's not going to. Not until she starts opening up better opportunity for herself. And then she gets a 1,600 caps. Okay, so sure, you can do the caps, but ultimately, it's just going to keep giving you garbage, right? So she does the caps, she gets the 1,500 war delivery, then she gets the 1,600 epic, 1,800 cargo. Okay, 1,200 repair. So at this point, we're 2 days, 9 hours. If she hasn't caught on to the fact she needs to do chems, I don't know what to tell you. Like, looking at her list, coins comes right back. She can't afford to cancel. She's got 2 factory assignments at the top for below the 1,300. She's got a 2,000 placement taken up. I'm trying to find a bottom list here. She's got another, the rest are all, upgrades. And then she's got the monster she can't touch and the chems she can't touch. So it comes down to glass, text, and then that one top one that she's rotating, or cancellation. So right now, it's like glass is out, because why would you do glass over text? It's worth less, and it opens up way more problems for yourself. Text was, the only option. So she gets a $1,200 repair. Again, should have done the text, but she does the repair, and she gets a $2,000 upgrade. So now she does a cancellation of something. I don't know exactly what, but now she's at her last 10 tasks. So now it's like, right now is when you need to open up opportunity more than ever. And she does, okay, so she does a double cancel, and she gets a 1,200 keys and a 2,400 epic. Now, she does the keys because obviously her epic is probably over now and on a cooldown. So then she gets a 3,000 London. What? 1 day, 15 hours. Hold on. Okay, so she waited for the cooldown on the epic. She does the epic. She gets an upgrade 3, so she cancels. Gets a delivery 2. So she worked this top task the whole time. And that was it. When she got to tickets, she quit. So basically, the whole time here, if you step back, like, okay, so let's see. Okay. Let's go to the beginning of the list here. Try to show you guys something. All right. Here. 2,000 value. Repair. The 2,400. Then you've got the chems, the coins, the cargo. And then you've got flour, VU, and war. Okay. It doesn't make sense to do cargo under these particular circumstances. That is where people need to understand opportunity. Opportunity is not the same for every single type of task, right? So every task has its own level of opportunity. For example, when you look at a launch 1 VU, what opportunity are you opening? You're opening up the possibility of a VU coming in, which would be a premium task. When you do cargo, you're opening up the possibility of cargo coming back, which can be worth a maximum of 1,800. But you also have to take into consideration that cargo doesn't usually come back as frequently as other tasks. So you're looking at the frequency of the task in which you're doing, and you're looking at the points value in the task in which you're clearing. So, for example, by her doing the cargo for 1,200, she opened up opportunity where cargo comes back less frequently, but she didn't really open up anything great, right? Whereas flour would have been the correct choice here. It opens up better opportunity than cargo. So then she gets the 1,600 keys. Now this opens up 0 opportunity in comparison to the ones at the bottom, right? So if you follow the rules of rotation, opportunity trumps value unless it's at 2,000 or higher, right? So, or right around 2,000. So like if you have a 2,000, if this would have been a 2,000 keys, then that would have made sense. If it's not 2,000, and she knows this, she's been told this many times. Many of you guys have been told this. If it's worth 2,000 points, then you do it. If it's not worth the 2,000 points, then you move on to your high premiums. And once you're out of high premiums, you work into your high non-premiums. Now, cargo, that would have been her highest non-premium. That would have been rotatable. Now, keys is not something that comes, or cargo is not something that comes back as frequently. So if you had to pick between a 1,200 cargo versus a 1,600 keys, cargo opens better opportunity, even though they're both low premiums or non-premiums. So it really comes down to what you need to know about each task in order to make an executive decision. So, I mean, if you go based on, like, let's just throw out any kind of screenshot here. Okay, here. So she's got a 1000 London, and she's got a 1200 Epic, and a 1800 or 1080 on the flower. So the flower is 80 points higher. The Epic is, 1200. But do you want to go with the Epic and start that right now and open up that possibility of that coming, because it will likely come back 3 or 4 times? Or would you rather take your risk with the flower? I would have went with the flower. And she goes with the airport when it's worth 80 less. Like, that doesn't make sense to me, given the amount of time that the flower had been sitting, especially. That doesn't make sense. So now, between the launch rare war attack and the flower, the launch rare war attack will likely bring a better task, but given the amount of time that the flower has been sitting, it's kind of like you have to scramble your list up sometimes. You can't just work the same damn task forever, otherwise the game is going to continue to give you garbage. You have to scramble things up sometimes. And it's just a matter of window of opportunity. So a lot of people, they will specifically wait to do their war stuff until they absolutely have to. Or like, oh, well, I have time to do that, so I'm not going to. No, you need to do it, like, when you need to do it. Don't just specifically put it off because you can, Go based off what you know about each task. A common war attack is not the same as a legendary or a rare war attack. The opportunity is different. Hopefully this helps you guys, and it, maybe you guys will do better. I'm hoping. If you go back and you watch the video, it was about 20 minutes long. I believe that, yeah, that's Chris's video. He did really, really well. And if you look at his choices, there's some choices in there that were probably choices you wouldn't have made. Watch the decisions he made, pause the video, and if it's a decision that you don't understand, look at the list, look at the choices, and think about why he did what he did. Okay? Because this isn't even the hard shit. The hard shit hasn't even got started. Okay? These decisions get difficult. And if you're having this much difficulty with the easy shit, it's going to be a long time before you get to the hard shit. Because, you'll watch that video. You'll understand what I'm saying. There's certain decisions in there that you're probably looking at going, how and why did he make that choice? Trust me. It's because he knows what he's doing and he's making the right choices. So if you don't understand his choices, then you need to go back and rewatch it.